Welcome back to another episode of Health is Wealth, and thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. And as always, I am beyond grateful and thankful to each and every one of you who is tuning into today's episode and also tuning in to help support the podcast, as every week we are filming a new episode, just sharing words and thoughts of hopes, inspiration, and motivation to hopefully bring value into your world today. And what I wanted to talk with you today about is this: if not now, then when? Life, guys, it flies by faster than we pay attention to, than honestly maybe we care to admit, because the reality is, you start to get older, your life gets busier, time is just whipping by, right? You blink an eye and you miss it, and all of a sudden 5 years is gone, and you're like, whoa, like, how did that just happen? I think about that, like right now we're already halfway through the year, getting into August, and it feels like a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, like the year just began. And so if not now, then when, right? And what this is all about is for us to stop procrastinating, stop putting things off, stop thinking that we've got all eternity to make up our mind, to decide, to choose, all of these different things. Because while we're holding back and feeling like we've got forever, time doesn't care. Time is just whipping by like that. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to start that thing. I'll get around to pursuing that thing next week. Maybe next year, finally have the courage to see what that road is all about. The unfortunate reality is we'd all like to hope and think that it's in everybody's future that we're all going to live to be like 100 years old. And we know that's not the truth. But somehow we think that's just going to be the lucky us that will be one of those. So even as we get older, I'm in my 40s now, it's just crazy, mind-blowing to think how time flies, because it almost feels like not too long ago, even though it was, that I was like 20 years old or 21 or 25, And again, we too often just take for granted how quick time goes, right? And just think we have all this time when we really don't, because we don't know how much time we each individually have. You see it every day, whether you choose to believe it, ignore it, turn your cheek, right? And somehow you think you might be the lucky one who's going to get to 80 to 100 years. I hope so for me and for you, but we know it doesn't happen for everyone. And so the point of this conversation is now, right? Because if not, there may not be a then. There might not be a next week, a next month, a next year, a next time. We have zero clue to know how much time we are, how we have, right? And all I think as I get older is, gosh, I've made it this far in life. I'm going to be 41 in a couple of years. It is crazy to think. And I think about how many people didn't even make it this far. How many people thought they had more time, thought they had another 60 years, etc. So they procrastinated. They put things off. They continue to say next year, next month, next week, tomorrow, etc. And if we keep putting things off, we keep wasting time that way, that what life are we really living? How are we actually living a life if we're not doing anything that we really want to be doing? Because most times, those are the things that we put off the most. I want to start that path next week to pursue that hobby, that passion. Finally start chasing that dream. Finally get to that hobby I've always wanted to do. Finally go see what that experience is all about. It's always tomorrow. It's always next month. Maybe next year. But there may not be that. And we have to act and take action with urgency. Because the more procrastination we have, the slimmer our chance is of actually doing the thing that we want to do, pursuing the thing that we want to pursue. Is that really how you want to live your life? knowing that everything you ever wanted, you never got around to because it belonged in the world of tomorrow, and next week I'll get to it, and next year I'll finally chase that dream or that passion or that hobby or that path. It just makes me personally realize how much more I need to get done ASAP. Right now I'm working like a mad horse. From morning to night, weekends, I don't have a day off. I'm around the clock 7 days a week. And it's because for me, it's like, I pray that I've got another 40, 50 years in me, right? I would pray that maybe I can live until I'm 80, 90, 100 years old, healthy. That's not up to me. I have no way to predict that either. So every day I don't do something where I'm pursuing the things that I want. I'm rolling the dice, taking that bet that I am going to get that 100 years. Maybe I only got 10 more years. Maybe only 5. I don't know. What I do know is I'm here right now in the moment. What I do know is I have that time in front of me. Now, tomorrow isn't guaranteed or isn't promised. Only the moment is. Not even the rest of this evening is promised. But I can't focus on that. I can focus on right now. And I have the ability right now to pursue the thing that I want to pursue. Then that's what I need to do. Because again, for me, it's just understanding and knowing that as I get older, I've lived this much life. I've only got this much life to live. And it might even be this, because it might be shorter than what I think. And so I don't do the things that I want to do now. Who knows if I'm going to get it then? Who knows if I'm going to get it next year, next month, next week, or next day? Again, this is just to push urgency that we need to stop procrastinating. We need to stop thinking we've got another 50 years to decide and make moves and take action and go for it and all of those different things, because it isn't the reality. You're taking the biggest gamble and bet in your life, betting your odds against the fact that you think, for some reason, even though there's no way to tell, that you've got the rest of your life to go and pursue that thing, to take a chance on that thing, to go down this path and road, whatever it may be. To me, that's a scary game. That's a scary bet to make. So what if you lose? Then what was all that time worth where you just kept putting things off? Didn't do much of anything because you kept putting off the things you wanted to do. When you're a lot younger, it's a lot different, because you still, in your head, think, I'm young. I got plenty of times to pursue that, go down that road, take a chance on this, etc. You still think you've got all this time left. And that's not true either. So I know many people who, again, at very young ages, didn't make it, right? And whatever circumstances led to that. Accidents, sickness, etc., etc. And it's, again, to say that, if not now, then when? And I think if we start to think this way, it'll make us more urgent. The only reason it takes us so long to do the things that it takes us long to do is because in our head we've convinced ourselves that everybody gets the full 100 years of life. Somehow we've got it in our head, just because we see it. We see people living into their, elderly years, even healthy and strong, that everybody's guaranteed that. That's not the way it works. It'd be nice if it says, hey, everybody's guaranteed 100 years of life, right? But that's not how it works, and that's not what it is. But what if you only had 5 years left? What if God came down and spoke to you and said, you got so much to do, so many things you want to pursue, and I wish I can give you a full 100 years to get all those things done. But I've got bigger plans for you leaving this life here. And with that, you only got about 5 years left. How drastically would that change your perspective of how urgent you've got to move? If in your head you go from maybe you've got another 50, 60 years to I got time, no rush, next day, next week, next month, next year. to then maybe finding out you only got 5 years to live, right? How much will that drastically change the things you waste your time on or not, things you do or not, right? How prioritizing the focus you would be on getting everything under the sun done that you wanted, because you know you're in very limited time. We're all on limited time anyways. But the $1 million question is to know how much unlimited time each individual person has. That's one we don't know. And I think it's more important to act as if you've got that 5 years and really start to hustle and really start to work and start, taking things off the, bucket list of things you want to pursue and do and lives you want to live. Than to not and just realize you wasted your entire life not doing anything that you wanted to, because again, it was stuck in the land of, I'll start that tomorrow, I'll start that next week, next month, and next year. So things that are all on my mind currently. And it's something when you get older, you think about these things more often. But I just realized if I put things off now, who knows if there's going to be another chance to pursue those things, to do those things. And I think a lot about this as I really try to take inventory in my life of what things am I putting off, what things am I procrastinating, what things am I telling myself next day, next month, next year. And what if I don't get that? How am I going to feel, And maybe this message is for me too, because it pushes me to be more urgent. And that's why I'm working around the clock right now, because I feel I got so much catching up to do. I got so much ahead to, getting to do, that it's like I still don't think I'm moving fast enough, But it's in my head. If I don't do these things now, then when? Most times if you don't do things in the moment, in the near future, things just go on this list of, I had intentions I wanted to do, that thing just never got around to it. And a lot of times they're the big things that we want to pursue in life. So stop waiting. Stop thinking you've got all the time in the world. Stop taking things so easy and so lightly, like you've got another life that you're going to live right after this one, and then get to the point to where you're taking things serious. I've never been more serious about my actions in my life and where I spend my time and what I'm doing and the directions that I'm going, and there's still a lot of those figuring out, but it's because I just know that if I don't do certain things now, I might not have a chance in the future. One day I surely won't, And just being proactive about this, really pushing myself to be like, even in my own head, I tell myself, yeah, you might want another 40, 50 years, but what if you got 10? What if you got 5? How's that going to change what really matters to you? Where do you spend your time? What things you continue to put off that you're like, no more. You are not putting this off, because if you don't do this now, it's never going to happen. It really helps me try to figure out where I'm at in life. But again, we don't pay attention to these things because life is busy. We're busy. We don't pay attention to how fast time goes. A lot of times we're just head down, plugged away, and doing what we're doing, that we forget we're actually living for us. We're actually living, and we're supposed to be living for a life that we want, not one that we're stuck in or settled for or feel we've got no option outside of, which is not true. But again, we're so busy doing that we put the real things that we want to pursue in life on the back burner, again, with all the other next day, tomorrows, next week, next month, and next year land of things that you might want to get around to, but, you're just putting them off. So, again, guys, we got to act with more urgency. We have to remember we don't have as much time as we think. We have to stop putting things off, because if not now, then when? It's the only way to do it. Because any other way, you're just burning time, valuable time that can be going into areas of life where you really want it to go to. So as always, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.